Okay, welcome back to Project 128. We're going to be showing you now how we're going to put the bottom on our Kratky bed, our small Kratky bed. And we've already got this one started. Basically just flip it upside down. We put our OSB board on. And again, you want your smooth side facing what's going to be the bottom of your bed. The rough side, which has the lines on it, we're going to be facing out. Again, go ahead and drill around pilot holes. And we're doing our screws about every 6 inches or so. I've already put a bunch of them in here. I'm just going to add one more. And again, we just want to drill a pilot hole in, and then we're using the 1.5 inch exterior screws in here. And again, just put those around. Again, we're putting like 2 in the ends, and then we're putting them on the sides about every 6 inches, and that'll hold our bottom together for us. So there we go. That's our bottom, and here's what we look like now. And our next task is going to be, again, cutting our foam board, and we'll go ahead and show you that here in our next step. I'll be showing you now how we're going to be cutting our foam board. The easiest way I found, especially since we're making the small Kratky beds, is to just go ahead and take your box that you manufactured, and we're going to take it upside down where the top's going to be there, and we're going to lay it on our board here, on our foam board. Okay, line up your edge. It's going to, this is a 4x8 sheet, and since our box is slightly less than 4 feet long, you'll have just a tiny bit of overlap on each side, and that's okay. Again, now you're going to take a razor, your utility razor. Again, be real careful with these, especially because you're going to want a sharp razor for making this cut, and keep your hands and fingers out of the way. And then you're just going to want to take right along the edge, constant pressure, and you're just making a nice score right across the top there, cutting through that first layer. Okay, move your box off. And then the easiest thing I found is if you ever have any experience with drywall, you're going to do the same thing. You're just going to take, there you go, you bend that, snaps. You can turn it over this way. And we're going to take our razor now. And again, watch your fingers. And right along that crease, we're just going to come on down with our razor. Get to the bottom, we just go a little bit up the other way. And there we go. And that's going to be our top. Since we have the foil side and then the other side, we're using the side with the foil facing up. Again, this is indoor. If you have an area where you might be outside, you may not want that to give a lot of reflective light on top of your plants. But since this is indoor, this is fine for our purposes. And now we're going to go ahead and we're going to, next step, we'll show you how we're going to mark this. Okay, now that we got our box finished and we cut our foam board, what we're going to do is we're going to be marking for the positions of our net pots. And again, since our box is going to hold about 12 gallons of water and nutrient, we're going to mark for positions for having 12 net pots. And so what the first thing we're going to do is we're going to mark in about 3 inches from each side. We're going to do that at the top, and we're going to do that towards the bottom here. Okay, then we're going to take a straight edge, or we're going to take our level. And again, this is a 4x8. This has been cut from a 4x8 sheet of foam. So with our box being 47.5 inches, we're going to have about a 1/4 inch overlap on the ends. So we go ahead and we mark our line between those marks. And then we're going to show you here our measurements for the net pots so that they're equally spaced. We're going to start off. Our first net pot position is going to be at 4 inches, and then we're going to go every 8 inches and make a mark after that. And so we have 4 inches, 12 inches, 20 inches, 28 inches, 36 inches, and 44. And so that last one then is 4 inches from the opposite side. So that gives us 6 net pots on both sides. And we're using 2-inch net pots. And again, we just ordered these through Amazon.com. So whoever you want to get them through, I know you can get them through Home Depot, you can get them through Amazon, you can get them through your local stores, hydroponic stores. Again, it's a 2-inch net pot. You can see it fits in there nice, comes right up to the edge. And in order to cut that, our hole saw that we're actually using an 1 3/4 inch hole saw. And as I said, if you've watched the our videos on building a VGS when we've solved our holes through a piece of PVC. Anytime I'm using a hole saw like that to prevent it from binding or grabbing, I always run my hole saw in reverse. So we go ahead and we're going to put that in reverse where we have our marks. I'm going to go ahead and put our bit there. Now if you have, ours has a film on both sides, so I'm going to drill straight through. But if you don't have a film on both sides, you just have foam on the other side, what you might want to do is drill about halfway through, flip it over, and then drill from the other side halfway through. That'll give you a nice clear edge. But since we've got film on both sides, it actually makes a nice hole. Both sides are really nice and clean as we get through there. There we go. And so as you can see, we got a nice clean hole on both sides. And we'll go ahead and we'll be finishing those off. So again, we'll have 6 on both sides for a total of 12 plants. And when we come back next time, we'll show you the final step where we're going to take our plastic. We're going to put our plastic liner on the inside. We'll put our lath around the outside that will hold the plastic in place. Then we're just going to be filling it up with our nutrient solution and putting our seedlings in here. And again, we're using this inside right now for lettuce because we're getting into the hotter weather and we want to have our lettuce grow a little bit better than here in the hot climate that we're running into in Central Florida. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to submit your questions. If you have comments or suggestions, please go ahead and send those also. Like us if you want. Go ahead and follow us. If you want, you can check us out on our blog. And on our blog, we'll put in there the prices that we paid for each of the different components that we're using here. So if you want that, there'll be an inventory of the parts used, and you can kind of compare prices with what's out there. And we also have a Facebook page. So go ahead and we'll see you next time. And thank you for joining us now. And until we see you next time, happy gardening.